going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a Razorback Offroad full rear cage. It's going to have spare tire mounts and fuel mounts. You're going to see all sorts of crazy stuff, but basically this whole rear section that everybody dumps all their gear off because you're the side-by-side guy, well, it's going to have a full cage wrapped around that, and it's going to be awesome. If you're new here, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you found it useful, leave a comment, let me know what you think of this new rig. If you've been here for a while, make sure to check out the membership program. We have all sorts of great perks for you guys and members only videos. So let's get into it. We're going to start installing this thing. So here's the thing. I wanted a full custom cage, but for whatever reason, dude, I couldn't pay somebody to do it.
Oh, you mean it costs a lot of money?
I was trying to throw money at people and they wouldn't do it. So anyway, I decided, screw it, I'll buy what already exists and it's actually cheaper. So what I've got there is the Razorback Offroad Expedition Rack, and it has RotoPax mounts and a spare tire mount. So basically, if you can imagine it, this whole back portion right here is going to have a cage, and that'll allow me to have my camera gear, all the stuff everybody else throws in my side-by-side because they're riding an ATV and didn't think about it, fuel, all that stuff. So
do you know if it comes past, like, for protection?
It comes like basically the same contours that already exist.
So it does come out a little bit past.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, because then if you had a tree.
The only thing is I did a cage chop and I dropped it about 5 inches, and I had a friend of mine measure one, and it from here to the top is 22 inches, and it's slightly above this, and I'm curious how this is going to work because I also have
this right here,
that roof too, right? So I don't know, because up here there's a whole other shelf. We're going to find out here in a moment. I have a feeling this is going to mock up fairly quickly because it's just like side, top rack, back door.
Wow.
And then you tighten it all down and keep it all from screwing around. So
yeah, potentially. I mean, it should be pretty self-explanatory, but you know, you do mods to a machine, things don't always line up.
Yeah, you know, because I've got one thing from one company, one from another, so on and so forth. But we are working very hard on getting this done. We have to get this done tonight because tomorrow we're literally going for a ride.
Yep.
And then we have all week to fix whatever we broke and go to Filthy Redneck Country Club.
No breaking things. No breaking things.
It basically arrives in what, 5 boxes? So you have 2 main boxes. I'm already seeing the top rack, some sidebars, rear bars, and then there was basically the RotoPax mounts and the rear tire mount, which are separate if you buy this stuff, by the way. So far the packing is amazing. We're seeing a lot of this expansion foam packing, so like it's pretty hard to beat that. And then there was also piles of paper and stuff too, but we're gonna have to dig into that. This is gonna take a little bit. I'm basically just gonna rip all of this out of here off camera because it's annoying. There's the rear rack. That's where the hardware was. In that center bit, that's where the spare tire mount actually goes. Here's one of the sides. That's where the RotoPax mount goes. There's the other side, and this is the rack that goes on top of all of it. So there's quite a few features I'll explain when I get to it. But basically, those side pieces are you're going to remove this bar on your cage, and those side pieces actually replace that. So you have to remove these panels on both sides. There's some bolts to remove there and there, and we'll get to mounting those first. There's the one side. It is actually fairly level with my chopped cage, so that works out really good. The only issue is over here more, you can kind of see that there's my roof tab right there. I might have to bend that in because there's going to be a rack right here all the way across, which is that guy. But I mean, already you can kind of tell what's going on here. So that's one side, obviously the other. The rear swing gate, and then the whole rack on top. It's gonna be cool, man. Ooh, can't wait. Look, my helpers are real gem and lined it all up for me. And Razorback doesn't send instructions, but they send you this card right here. Focus. And it tells you basically where to find the installation instructions on their website. So on their website, I found my machine and the Expedition Rack for the Can-Am Maverick Trail and Sport. And I'm basically gonna hit that. And looks like I have to download a PDF. And away I go. So we're gonna get to work. I don't think it'll take much, but there might be some interesting notes that we need to understand. I'm not gonna be that dude who just doesn't do the instructions.
Why not?
We did that earlier.
What I do.
Yeah, I know, me too, but try not to today for video purposes.
Figure it out.
It's already kind of looking sick, not gonna lie to you. So down here, when you rip apart your Can-Am, you actually only have 1 bolt here for the bars that are part of the cage, but there's actually 2 threaded holes here, so you can get a 13 mil and both these bolts in. Just clean them out. I used the air gun there and just blasted them out. And then for the top, they gave us another bolt, but I actually put the black bolt back in because I just think it looks better. Ties it in, whatever. So that's the OEM bolt I just slammed back in there. So at this point, I believe we have to do the top shelf, but we're gonna go for the instructions there and see what it says. A little bit of an interesting setup. If you don't have a chopped cage, this is not going to be your problem. But I did chop my cage. So I just cut off the huge wing that basically came off of my roof here. Let me see if I can get focus. And it still doesn't quite fit because we have to line up some holes here. So what we're gonna try and do is mount the rear wheel gate and see if it'll clear with it where it is, and we will re-drill holes in order to meet these mounts. So that's basically what we're gonna have to do in order to get this to set up on my particular machine because of the cage chop. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, but essentially right now we're not meeting this gap right here, and I don't think we will because there's no room in between that rack and the cage, because normally this cage is actually above it. So that's what we're gonna do. Ooh, the light's coming in really good. I might get my thumbnail right there. Anyway, so we put the back door on and there is tons of space. So what's gonna happen here is we moved it forward. We're gonna mount it using a different hole, and then we're gonna drill this one out. And then that'll allow for this to work with my chopped cage. And it doesn't look like it's gonna cause any other issues. Again, if you have this machine and you didn't chop a cage, you're not gonna have any of this problem. So far, everything's fantastic. The way they did the hinge, it's very robust, way overkill, which is good because I'm gonna have a big old tire hanging off the back here. So what's gonna happen now is we're gonna start putting some bolts in, drilling some holes, and tightening all of this up. And then it's just gonna be a matter of double checking fitment in order for this hinge to work. And I'll get to this hinge afterwards, but we have some work to do. Obviously nothing has changed, but this is a step that's important regardless if you have a chopped cage like myself or not. So we're at the point now where you start tightening up certain things. So we tightened up these sidebars to the frame of the cage and the body, and that solidified where these are, but we already had the bolts done up for the rear of this guy, and we double checked, everything fits, everything's great there. For myself, I'm gonna have to drill a new hole for the rack right there, and then it's a matter of just fitting up and testing the door. So this is where you work your way inwards now at this point, and once you get that all sorted out, you're just lining it up until everything functions as designed. So we're in good shape. We learned a lot. We basically had this hinge come in and it closes here, and there's a guide. So when that closes, it basically hits this thing and forces it center. So we realized that one of those hinges, if you pull back on it or push forward on it, it'll actually make this gate like this or like this. So we can actually align it using those two hinges. So we basically put it a little off center, higher than it was supposed to be, locked it all in, and then its weight basically put it back to center. And
and then the way you did that is just adjusting
these guys here. So these bottom brackets, you can actually move them left and right. So if you move the top one this way and the bottom one this way, you're actually gonna make the gate go upwards.
Okay.
We just had to do we could have just read the instructions, but we didn't. Anyway, it's all good.
That's always the open box install and then figure it out later.
Yeah. So we're just gonna tighten all this up there, and we're on the home stretch now.
It's looking sweet though. There's so much more extra storage space on the top. You utilize it. You can utilize a sport utility machine way better now.
We have the rack done. It's all assembled. We have it all tweaked up. We basically used some straps and stuff because we had to do some custom holes. Come on. You guys know about the custom holes, so we basically used a strap. These guys way under here. I don't know if you can get that. So we used the strap from one bar to the other to basically bring it in, and then we tested the gate. Because basically as long as this gate works, everything's fine. So obviously everything's working mint. It's literally perfect. So we obviously did a good enough job. The only thing that's different is I couldn't get bolts in a position up here because of the gap in the way my cage is. But what I'll do is I'll get some long bolts just to secure it at the very least, and it'll be fine. Obviously everything's in order. What we don't have on here yet is they also sent out these are for the RotoPax. So if you don't know what a RotoPax is, it's basically a fuel jerry, and this will mount to the side, and you have your fuel jerry right here, and we'll have one of those on both sides. And then this guy is the actual mount right here that's sliding adjustable, so you can put your tire here, your spare tire there. It has a universal mount, so basically you can use any rim, any manufacturer, it's all good. And bolt it up right there. It's plenty strong enough. This gate is incredibly robust. And the gas strut won't push a tire out, obviously, but it will keep it up there, no problem. And I'm really not worried about anything. Like, this thing is just, I am so happy with the way this turned out. And again, the reason why we're doing this is typically when you are a side-by-side guy, everyone's like, oh man, hey, can I throw this in there or whatever? Because quad guys don't have anywhere to put stuff. So I, of course, also have my camera gear. So the idea is we're gonna have my camera case down here. We have all of our fin trail gear that goes into that fin trail bag there. We're gonna put that up here. We're gonna have fuel jerrys on the outside, but for the ride that I'm doing tomorrow, I'm probably gonna put a fuel jerry like right here. And then you can just strap all of this down. And that still leaves tons of space up here, and I'll still be able to see straight out the back. Yeah, the world's your oyster at this point. So the idea is, like, I can bring my camera gear and all my riding stuff and my passenger, and I created a lot more usable space. Because this tub stuff would just fly out of it. You have to strap it all down perfect. This gives you a lot more opportunities. So what do you think, wife?
Room for snacks.
Room for snacks?
Yeah. Put a cooler in there too, and have some snacks with you instead of just in a backpack crunching up your sandwiches and whatnot. So, lots of opportunities, some very, flexibility with what you're going to be able to put in there if you just want to throw your sweater.
Do you think it's cool?
About losing it. I think it's all right. No, it's pretty sweet. I like it a lot. We're gonna see if we can get creative for FRCC.
Yeah, don't get too creative. That thing doesn't hold that much weight. She wants to sit up there.
That much
Oh,
weight.
whoa.
It's not rated for wife. But no, I'm pretty pumped.
I am sorry that this video is quite rushed. I'll explain what's going on. Basically, we had to get 780 Alex's ATV ready tonight. So we had some projects there. We did an SLG exhaust and everything like that. This video is on this rack, and we had to get this done. So now it's like 10 p.m. You can't tell because we're in the prairies and the sun doesn't go down forever. But now we have to load these machines up, pack camera gear, pack riding gear, pack lunches, pack sleeping stuff, get all that done tonight, because early in the morning we're shipping off to go see Piston Broke up north. So it's just, the crazy way of off-road. We live a good life, so I'm not
I haven't even
complain too
packed
much.
anything yet.
But we haven't packed anything yet, and it's 10 o'clock at night, so we should probably get back to work. So if you like this video, make sure to hit that button for me. Subscribe down below and check out the membership program. Bye. So we just got that Razorback Offroad Expedition Rack set up, and I wanted to show you one of the biggest reasons why I wanted it. Obviously, there's a lot of storage, so if we want to go camping and do whatever. But naturally, what I do for a living, I have a lot of camera gear, right? So this allows me to do what I'm doing. I can get to my camera gear and do whatever I need to do. I have a whole layer underneath, and there's drones and everything else in here. And what I'll probably do is just have some lighting underneath. I have all of my fin trail stuff in here. Obviously, we have 780 Alex's gear hanging here. This is the goal for me. So we have a few other things coming for the machine. I just wanted to show you a practical use the day after we installed it, and I'll include it in the video that you're watching now. So thanks for watching, guys.
Oh, I know. Oh, B-roll.
Yep. Oh, I tripped myself.